children we are talking about. We are talking about married men with their families in the company of their father to visit the deputy governor. One of the sons that the deputy governor disowns as not having a personal relationship with. So then one would ask, what was the essence of the meeting? What was the essence of that visit? It must have been towards what Dennis was saying. It cannot be anything else. Honorable Senators, when the deputy governor stands before you, a man of serious qualifications, serious titles, and he tells you that he is able to operate his mobile banking, that he is able to operate the M-Pesa app, but he does not know how to reverse money. That he received 100,000, rather that he received money from Dennis, wrongly sent it to Lucy, but somehow does not understand the procedure of reversing that money. Is it that equivalent to the defense that was given by that gentleman who forced himself on that girl? 2 days after that money was erroneously sent, the deputy governor has not visited any Safaricom shop. The deputy governor has not even talked to his aide because he is entitled to one. He has not talked to his personal secretary to assist him with a simple reversal. And he wants honorable senators representing the entire country to believe that lie. That is not a lie that you can afford to fall for. The deputy governor comes before you and tells you that yes, I had spoken to Dennis' father for this employment favor, that yes, I approached Lucy seeking for this favor, that yes, I received money which he now terms as the payment of debt, and 30 minutes after receipt of that money, sent that money to Lucy by mistake. Now, logic dictates that the chain that is being talked about has not been broken. There is a clear trace of the intention of the money, the person who is supposed to procure that money, the person who is receiving that money first of all, and sending to that specific person. Why isn't it that these 100,000 could not be sent to a Jane, a random Joyce, just a random person? That would have been a lie that would have made sense. But to look you straight in the eyes and tell you that that money was not meant for that purpose, without debunking the entire chain, it's a lie. It's an insult to everyone's intelligence. His key witness, the father, to Dennis, again, is unable to explain why there was need to transfer money from his wife's account to Dennis and back to the deputy governor. And he tells you, he wants you to believe that he wanted to express love to the son by sending him money to go and withdraw, then hand it over to the deputy governor. I do not know how expressions of love are nowadays, but I do not think that senators are able to buy into that. That he gave the son the responsibility of withdrawing the money because the son was quick enough to go to Keombo Market, withdraw the money, and come back when he had a driver who can run that errand. But somehow he wants you to believe that the son would have walked or ran faster than his own driver. He operates an M-Pesa shop, he confirms, but does not tell you why that money could not be withdrawn from his own M-Pesa. Obvious lies. lies that cannot be allowed to go on record. For that reason alone, then you need to tell the governor that he has breached the leadership and integrity code as we know it, that he cannot be trusted with leadership if he can look you straight in the eye, honorable members, and lie to you when you can tell clearly that it's a lie. I can go on and on with the lies, but you've had the benefit of listening to the lies. Do not allow your intelligence to be insulted. I will invite my learned friend, Mr. Mwangi, to take you through the evidence that was produced in this court, in this Senate, and how the County Assembly of Kisii has been able to prove all the 4 charges against the Deputy Governor. Thank you so much.
Honorable Speaker and members of the Senate, my name is Mwangi Ndegwa. I will be dealing with the evidence that has been produced, and also I'll also briefly touch on the obvious truths. Members of the Senate, the County Assembly has been able to produce before you trails and transactions indicating and showing how money exchanged hands from Joseph and Dennis to the Deputy Governor, and how the same money finally found its way to the Managing Director of Guasco for purposes of serving its purpose. Honorable members, it all began with the obvious truths. Joseph Misiati approached the Deputy Governor, and the Deputy Governor has agreed to that and confirmed on oath. The Deputy Governor also confirms that he reached out to Lucy seeking for favors as had been sought from him by Joseph Misiati. And Lucy magnanimously told him that we shall only recruit on a meritocratic process. Honorable members, we have seen Dennis submitting before you and crying before you that he did sell his salon. Dennis produced a sale agreement for that sale. Dennis produced a sale agreement also for the sale of his household goods and equipment. And he said that he gave that money to the mother for purposes of safe custody. Obviously, there is a reason why the mother was not called as a witness, so that we are not able to debunk that theory that the money came from them. There is seen money being sent from Dennis at 8:33 p.m. on the 28th of May. The other transaction is at 8:37, a transaction of 150,000, and the last transaction of 49,000 at 8:43 p.m. on 28th of May. 40 minutes later, that money leaves the mobile phone of the Deputy Governor and goes to the mobile phone of one Lucy, the director of Guasco. Remember, honorable members, that Lucy received this money at 9:24 p.m. on the 28th of May 2023. When Lucy received this money, she did not understand why the money was being sent to her. But the following morning, she made a call to the Deputy Governor, just a follow-up to confirm, why are you sending money to me? And in that conversation, and it's a conversation that the Deputy Governor has admitted that they indeed spoke, that indeed, while he was taking breakfast at his home, Lucy reached out to him. And according to Lucy, she states that the Deputy Governor said, this is as a follow-up to the requests I made to you for the assistance in the recruitment of my candidate, my preferred candidate. Now, honorable members, due to the integrity of one lady called Lucy, she asked the deputy governor to reverse the money. But obviously, the deputy governor does not reverse the money. What does he say? It's an error. And what does he also say? That the money was supposed to be sent to one Gladys, who is also a chief officer within the government of Kisii county government. And what we also see later, we also see that there was an intention, or there is a statement by one Gladys, who says in her statement that there was the deputy governor's wife actually approached her for favors in regard to being given the tenders for supplying pharmaceutical products. And in her statement, she says that she was approached around the month of May 2023. And the same May 2023 is when the deputy governor gives or sends money of 100,000 shillings to also Gladys. So the question is, was the deputy governor sending money simultaneously, intentionally, for two intended purposes to bribe? Was he intending to bribe not only Lucy, but also intending to bribe Gladys? As I sum up, honorable members, the defense by the deputy governor should not be taken seriously. It is concocted. It has been summed up so as to rule this House not to vote for the motion. Members, I sum up by telling you that, or requesting you, to allow the motion on the basis of the grounds on the motion and the evidence produced by the County Assembly. I do invite my brother, Learned Senior Mr. Ndegwa.
Thank you, Honorable Senators. I must begin by thanking this House for spending quite considerable time. It tells me and convinces the whole country that this House takes its work seriously. If there are doubts out there that this is a House that is made of noble men and women, then that doubt has been eroded this evening for the last 2 days. And I therefore think it was then prudent for the drafters of our Constitution to think of creating a House of such high repute. A House that has been called upon to offer oversight over the performance of the county governments. Had it not been for this House, I assure you, Honorable Senators, that the ordeals that the people of Kenya would have suffered out there would be enormous and untold for. It was then prudent and wise that the drafters of the Constitution gave the singular role of oversight to this House and told this House that your oversight will not only be limited to how the resources of the county must or will be spent. The oversight was granted unto you, members of the Senate, and extend to seeing to the effect that Article 10 has been implemented. That is a question of integrity. It calls upon you, Honorable Senators, to look at the conduct of the people working in the county assemblies. It calls upon you, Honorable Senators, to see to it that Chapter 6 of the Constitution has been implemented as it is. Chapter 6 of the Constitution presupposes a scenario of the Caesar's wife, that the people working in the county governments must be beyond reproach. They must not even be suspected of any scintilla element or any iota of misconduct. They should not be suspected that they even attempted to get bribed. This is not a case of an attempt. It is a case that evidence has been led to the conclusion of any reasonable member of the society that yes, Mr. Monda was found with his hands in the cookie jar. That doubt has been erased. When Mr. Monda was put to task, why didn't you reverse the 100,000 shillings that you sent to Lucy? He simply says, I fell asleep. At the county assembly, he indicated that he fell asleep. When he was taken to task and taken through his M-Pesa statements, even as late as 23:57 hours, he was still transacting. When he was put to task whether he understand the M-Pesa procedures and whether he saw the prompt messages, he simply feigned ignorance. I do not know how to operate an M-Pesa. Ignorance is no defense. Ignorance cannot discount his misconduct. Ignorance cannot let him be pardoned for defrauding the least members of the society. Honorable Senators, look at the person who was called upon to raise 800,000 shillings. A destitute youth, a jobless youth, a hopeless youth, a homeless youth, a youth whom we should be, instead of extorting, a youth whom Honorable Deputy Governor Monda should have been giving hope. Honorable Senators, the conduct of Honorable Deputy Governor of Kisii County does not breathe hope to the youth of this country. His conduct is a conduct that goes to telling our youths that unless you have a godfather in the status of Honorable Monda, do not attempt to apply for any jobs in this country. That is the message that the conduct of the Deputy Governor of Kisii County is sending out there. This government is spending a lot of time. The senators are on day-to-day allocating money to the counties to make sure that work and jobs are created. Those jobs are not created for the use of the status of the friends of Mr. Monda. The jobs are not created for the people who have connections with the deputy governor like that of Mr. Mosati. The jobs are created for all the youths. And behold, the Constitution provides that we are all equal before the law. We should be granted equal protection. But what is the deputy governor doing? The deputy governor is elevating through nepotism, cronyism, and favorism his friends. What of those youths? What of those, the Mama Mutura who spoke here? The Mama Mutura who passionately said, I have taken my child to school, and she has no connection to Honorable Governor Monda. What is the fate of that youth? Honorable Senators, you are being called upon to do one of the most solemn things, to tell any person out there who may think that he has the conduct and the ability of extorting youths like Honorable Monda, that you have no space in the Republic of Kenya. That is a message that must be sent clearly. And it is not just a message that is coming out of this house. It is also a biblical message. It is so biblical in the sense that in the book of Exodus, chapter 18, verse 21, we are being told, select capable men from all the people, all amongst yourself, men who fear God, trustworthy, and people who hate dishonest, and people who hate gains and appoint themselves as officials. This is a member who claims to be a church elder. He claims that he's a member of the SDA. Doesn't he know the dictates of the chapter that I have just read? Is this a person who should be trustworthy? Does he hate bribe? We answer no. Let it not be lost as I sum up that unless actions are taken as against these individuals, we shall water down the gains that we have made. Chapter 6 of the Constitution must be briefed. We must give life to that article. Finally, honorable members of the Senate, permit me to submit that the standard of proof of this case has been met. We were supposed to prove not beyond reasonable doubts. We were supposed to prove on balance of probability, and that standard has been met. I believe there is no doubt in any member of the Senate that Mr. Monda attempted to bribe Lucy. There is no doubt in any person seated before this house today that Mr. Monda sent the money to Lucy. And if there is any person with that doubt, may that doubt be spelled today. And what is the consequences of the actions of Honorable Monda? What is the consequences? The consequences is that his actions have put a family in collision. A father has gone against a son has gone against the father. A brother has gone against a brother. If Mr. Monda was diligent enough, if he's a person who is to be trusted, he should have chosen his path clearly and correctly. He would not have put the two families into collision. The collision that you have seen here and witnessed is courtesy of the misconduct of Honorable Deputy Governor of Kisii County. What is this other consequence? The other consequence is that the provisions of Article 26 have been compromised. That life begins at conception. Testimony and evidence was brought before this court that a young woman somewhere, a person suffered depression, and as a consequence of that depression, a life was lost. Even if these honorable members will not vote to remove the deputy governor on the count of bribery, let the cry of that child, the unborn child, be heard. Let the blood of that child not dry until justice is done. Let the blood of that unborn child cry and ring bells to the consciousness of this house, so that at the end of the day, a caution and a restraint will be made by any person who may think that child has nobody to fight for, that child that lost has no voice to speak for. It is you, the honorable senators, who are going to speak on behalf of that child. It is you, honorable senators, who will speak on behalf of that unborn child. It is you who will say that justice will be heard. Subsequently, honorable members, as a consequence of these actions, an office has been compromised. The integrity of the office of the deputy governor has been eroded. The integrity of the office of the deputy governor has been put into disrepute. And for that reason, a vote ought to be taken and a vote ought to be cast to send the deputy governor home. Malcolm X in 1965 said, "If you do not stand for anything, you will fall for anything." That is the character and the conduct of Honorable Deputy Governor Monda. He stands for anything, and he falls for everything. He falls for bribery. He bribes he exhorts Mama Mutura. He exhorts people on bursary basis. He exhorts Dennis. If a Mama Mutura spoke that she was extorted, and we believed her, why should we not believe Dennis? Why should we not believe Dennis? When a question was put as to why the mother had to be involved in the sending of the money, the answer was, "I was doing financial management." I was doing financial management. I tell you, honorable senators, that the mother was brought in this case as a decoy. She has been brought here as a decoy to make sure that you do not see the correct network of this corruption and bribery. Let no one be invited that the money ever came from the mother. If it did came from the mother as earlier submitted, the mother would have been a witness to testify to that effect. Honorable senators, let it not be lost on us that on 31st of December 2012, the Honorable Lady Deputy Chief Justice of this Republic committed a heinous offense similar to this one, and she was sent home on the count of pinching the nose of Rebecca. She was sent home on the count of asking Rebecca Kirubo that you should know people. Who are you? We give you power, we vote for you, then you extort us. We vote for you, then you steal from us. We vote for you, then you defraud us. How lucky are you? How lucky are you, Honorable Monda, that we shall vote for you, we give you our votes, and then you defraud us of our money? How lucky can you be, Honorable Monda? How lucky can you be? That is a question that must go and ring bells. Honorable Senators, as I sum up, let us draw the lesson from the case of Nancy Baraza. If a Chief Justice was taken home on that one count of pinching the nose and arrogantly saying that you should know people, what of this person who has gained and benefited unjustly? What of him? You are told that 500,000 shillings was being paid as a debt. Has evidence been brought before this case, before this Senate, to prove that Mr. Mosati owed the governor at a particular point? Zero. No evidence. Let us rise to the occasion, honorable members. As I sum up, look at the Watergate case. The Watergate case was a tight case. Somebody breaks and organizes the breaking of the National Convention, the Democratic Convention offices. A president tries to conceal that, and that act of concealing sends President Nixon home. Today, it's not President Nixon. Today, it is not Nancy Baraza. Today, it's Honorable Monda. As I sum up, I am urging this Honorable House to do what is right. Not what is popular, not what is easy, not what is enticing, but what is right. What is right is that which shall lead to giving the people of Kisii County justice. What is right is that action of upholding the provisions of the Constitution of Kenya. What is right is that of saying that the sovereignty of the people of Kenya must be respected. Finally, honorable members, for the loss of that child, and I insist, for the loss of that honorable child, Honorable Monda must go. For taking of the bribe from poor Kenyans, Honorable Monda must go. For failing to breathe confidence to the youth of this country, Honorable Monda must go. For failing to uphold the integrity of his office, Honorable Monda must go. For taking for granted this house, that he can blatantly lie to the house, Honorable Monda must go. For failing to bring and for lying before this house, Honorable Monda must go. I urge you, Honorable Senators, Honorable Monda must go. Much obliged.